Hi friends, welcome back to Rafting Magazine, and today we are down at the river store with our friend Kristin. We are talking about shoes today. We got a ton of shoes here. Obviously I'm holding some Chacos, typical classic, but
heck yeah.
What do you think about rocky rivers like here in California, like for Chacos and other shoes? What's your opinion? What are you seeing people buying?
Well, Chacos have been kind of a guide staple for probably longer than I've been alive. People come in and it's just like a classic, rugged hiking sandal. I think is the best way to describe Chaco. So if you're looking for an open shoe that's still going to have enough support to where you're walking over, bigger rocks, trudging through, on a portage or something, Chaco is going to be the way to go. If you want something that's going to cover your feet a little more and protect your toes, I would probably steer into something from Astral or Adidas. Those have been our other two big companies that we sell. So, yeah.
So, kind of talking about Chacos, if you're doing a lot of rocky rivers, this is something that my team has been talking about quite a bit. This is a classic shoe. It's a classic design that people use all over the place. But there's one problem: your toes. And especially when you're rafting, like your foot goes under the thwart and then it starts rubbing and peeling back your toenails. Like that is no fun. That's nasty. Now, where I have heard this is really good is long multi-day trips where you're gonna get trench foot. Mm-hmm. So if you guys are on long multi-days, Chacos, that's kind of more what they're designed for. It's like if you're running around on hard rock, I don't know about you, but like when I'm running around on slippery granite and stuff, like my toes just get destroyed with these. Yeah. So, also if you have like slaty shale kind of rivers, I have had sandals that have gotten a little piece of slate under my foot, and I've just sliced open my foot with those. So this is why we are steering towards closed-toed shoes a lot more, and why I like closed-toed shoes. But if you're on a big sandy river with not a lot of rock and it's lots of water features, I mean, Chacos are great. I've been on the Colorado, but
perfect Grand Canyon shoe.
Perfect Grand Canyon shoe for all of you Grand Canyon, Utah boaters. But
here in California, we like our toenails.
It's a little different story. So let's just talk about, like, I've been using, and if you guys have been watching Rafting Magazine, I've been using the La Sportiva TX3 approach shoe. And Kristin was telling me that some of these shoes are also approach shoes. Let's start out with that. Like, what do we got from 510?
Classic shoe from 510, the Guide Tenny. It is classified as an approach shoe, so you are going to have kind of a softer, flat 510 on your toe box, but then you do have the classic dotted 510 on the rest of the shoe. So that's going to give you great traction when you're walking through all that slippery granite, trying to get to where you want to paddle. And then another great shoe from 510, Adidas, which is new, is the Trail Cross Pro. And the Trail Cross is a great shoe because the top of it is mesh and it also drains out the side. So when you're a kayaker, you're going to be walking through the water right before you put in. You can let the shoe drain so you don't get water in your kayak. And they're going to dry a lot faster at the end of the day than the Guide Tenny will.
But most of us are not kayakers.
This is true.
So
the Trail Cross is still going to be a great shoe that's going to give you toe protection when you're putting your foot underneath your thwart, and it is still going to dry out pretty quick. So when you're on those multi-day trips, like a lot of people are doing the Tuolumne right now, your shoe is not going to be completely waterlogged in the morning when you put it on, which is kind of a gross feeling.
So let's talk about these Guide Tennies. Like, these have a suede upper, and we were talking about that before. Mm-hmm. And our buddy John is here in the store, and he mentioned the stank of that, which is always a problem, right? Like,
yes.
So, how do these hold up with the suede in the water? Like, from the kayakers that you've talked to, because I haven't talked to a lot of rafters.
I haven't heard anything negative about the Guide Tenny as far as it being used in and around water. That being said, it's going to hold in the water and it's probably going to get a little stinky. So having a shoe that dries quicker, drains a little better, it's going to help cut down that river funk, but we also sell products to help cut down the river funk. Sink the Stink is a classic.
So I also had purchased a pair of Chaco shoes years ago, and this is an important tip when you're choosing your shoe, is the Chaco shoe had like a little quick zip kind of buckle here, and so it sat like right on the top of your foot. So when you put your foot under a thwart, then that thing is pushing directly on the top of your foot.
Sounds like a bruise.
Yeah, I got some pretty bad bruises when I used it. So something to look out for, but all of these shoes that we have here seem to have some nice lacing. So the Guide Tenny, pretty cool. And these both have the same rubber?
Yep. So both will have stealth rubber, which is only available on certain Adidas and 510 shoes.
And so we got the Trail Cross here. This one actually looks pretty cool. How have you heard about the durability on this?
Dan Crandall, the owner of the shop, actually snagged a pair because he liked them so much. He's been wearing them nonstop for the last year. Hikes up in Arcata, Trinity River trips, the Rogue. He probably even took them on his last Grand Canyon trip. They've been holding up. I mean, I see Dan once a week, and his shoes, I mean, the bottoms of them are still in great condition.
How about the tops where the mesh is? Because this is usually where it blows out, like right here.
There's some exceptions. So if you have a wider foot, you'll know that you're going to blow out the tops of your shoes a little more, typically in the pinky toe or by your big toe if you have any bunions or anything. So I like to say that I have short hobbit feet. So if you look at any pair of Vans that I own, my pinky toes have nice little air holes.
Nice.
So if you have wider feet, you probably will wear out the mesh upper a little bit quicker than someone with a narrower foot. But as far as general durability goes, they've definitely been passing the test.
So the Trail Cross is pretty cool because it's got like kind of an overmold right here, which is pretty sweet. So I don't see a lot of other shoes having that that you have here, but I mean, we got a bunch of Astrals, so let's look at those. What do we got? What's new stuff from Astral?
New stuff from Astral that I got in this year is the TR1 Scuffler for men. So this one's going to be nice. It's an upgrade from the Brewer. So you have nice lugs bottoms. It does have their G rubber, and so that's going to be really sticky on the rocks. There is debate if it's as sticky as stealth rubber, but that's for you to decide. The Scuffler and the women's version, the TR1 Loop, they are both really awesome rugged shoes if you're going to be logging a lot of miles on land, trying to get to your put-in or even your takeout, or if you just want a more rugged shoe to be on your foot for any possible portages during your trip. This definitely is a good shoe to opt for. In true Astral fashion, they do drain out of the toe. So they are going to dry a little quicker than, say, maybe the Guide Tenny.
They're a little softer than the Trail Cross, too.
They are, yeah. The mesh is going to be a little more soft. So as far as shoving it under your thwart in the raft, durability is probably up for debate. I haven't talked to any raft guides who are wearing these just yet, but maybe in the next couple months we'll hear some information on that.
Yeah, and I'm actually interested. So we're going to be trying something here in the future where we've got a couple ideas on how we're going to test stickiness on like a 45-degree slope. We're going to like get it wet and then also put some weight in the shoe and hopefully see and start to incline it. And at some point it'll start to slip.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious where that slip point is. So I've been talking to a few people about this, but determining the slipperiness and stickiness of the shoe on multiple different surfaces is going to be a really interesting thing to know.
That would be really fun.
Well, we got this last Astral one. What's that?
So this is a kind of a revamp of the Loyak. So it's the Loyak AC, stands for air conditioning. So as you can imagine, it's designed to be a little more cool than the original Loyak. So comparison, the original Loyak has more of a tight-knit weave for the mesh upper, and this Loyak AC is a little more see-through and lighter, and so that's just going to help your foot breathe a little more, definitely help with the foot stink during the summer. The Loyak traditionally is worn without socks, but you could throw on a pair of socks, at the end of the day, go out to Marco's, get some pizza, dress up a little bit. The nice thing about the Loyak, though, is you do have a very just super low profile sole. So if you're looking for a shoe that's going to give you some protection, but it's going to feel more like a barefoot fit, the Loyak's going to be the option that you want to shoot for. Again, with traditional Astral fashion, they are going to drain out of the toe, and then the Loyaks also drain out of the heel, so to give you a little more availability to empty the water out of your shoe.
So it's definitely like a more minimalist shoe.
It is a minimalist shoe, yeah. And so the downside to that is you want to think about If you're going to be walking anywhere that has a lot of sharp rocks, probably not the best shoe. You will feel them. Even though you have protection, it's going to feel uncomfortable on the bottom of your foot.
I used to paddle with some of those Vibram 5-finger, toe shoes, and every time I would walk around with those, I would feel every rock in it. So, if you guys are in riverbeds that are really coarse, this may not be the best option for you. But again, if you're in more larger, I should say, like larger rocky riverbeds, this might be a good option for you. The cool thing I found with these low profile shoes is as your foot conforms to whatever surface you're walking on, it gets a little bit more stickiness because you have a little bit more surface area. But again, that's for you guys to decide. So,
I like to describe the Loyak as a perfect South Fork shoe. We don't have a lot of crazy sharp rocks generally, and a lot of people are just here, have some fun on the water for the weekend. They aren't really walking around too much. So, great South Fork shoe. It's light, gets the job done, and it stays on your foot whether you're rafting, kayaking, tubing, whatever you're doing on the river. Yeah.
Cool. Well, those are some new designs from different shoe manufacturers we've been seeing. There's a couple more out there that I've seen. There's like a new Adidas version I saw a kayaker wearing a couple weeks ago. And we got some shots from that. It kind of looks like the old Canyoneer. If you remember the 510 or Adidas Canyoneer shoe.
Oh yes, I do know which Adidas shoe that is.
And it's kind of got like a neoprene upper cuff. Pretty cool shoe. So hopefully we can get our hands on that and take a look at it. But unfortunately we don't have any here in the store. So
did it look like that?
Oh, this is it's similar.
That's the Trail Cross, but it's the mid, so it's more of a high top shoe.
Oh, I didn't know they made a mid.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for the Trail Cross, here's a
got the Trail Cross.
Larger one.
We can talk about this one. So this one's pretty cool. It's still classified as a mountain bike shoe. So there's a couple features on there that are really pertinent if you're riding down maybe a tighter single track, worried about ankle protection. This has the foam on your heels, similar to G-form. So it's malleable and it's going to move with you when it's just soft, but then it's going to kind of tighten up when it gets hit with contact. So that one's nice.
If you guys have not seen our review on G-form products, they are super cool. It is probably Science Geeks is a non-Newtonian fluid, I guess. That's what it's called. And so it dissipates all of the impact by hardening as opposed to just absorb or pushing the impact out to different areas like a plastic thing would be. So that's pretty cool for your ankles, like especially if you're getting whacked with a paddle or a T-grip or something like that from all your friends, because it's gonna happen.
Right. And then similar to the low top Trail Cross, mesh upper, nice kind of rubberized toe cap there, and then it does drain out the sides. So
cool.
This is definitely a contender when it comes to the old 510 shoes, the water tenny.
Oh yeah. That was a good shoe. I had that too.
Yep. Oh, I've still seen a pair floating around here and there that come by the shop. And so, this is a great replacement for the water tenny. High top shoe, great protection.
So, kind of to sum up here for y'all, we're looking at a lot of closed-toed shoes. And as you can see, there's a lot of them coming out from different manufacturers because, again, the river industry is moving more to this kind of stuff. So, if you're used to the chacos and sandals on the river, they're great for certain applications, but again, if you're, say, a California boater, if you're maybe like even a Pacific Northwest boater, you might want something that's going to be more closed-toed, especially if you get into rocky stuff like in Appalachia, the Ocoee, Gauley, New Rivers, or you're in something like Colorado, running some bigger rivers like that. Things like Gore Canyon, Arkansas. I'd say all of those places with like big mountains, big gorges, and lots of technical rivers. Closed-toed shoes are really a great way to go, and they're also multifunctional. As you said, most of these are mountain bike shoes or shoes that are adapted from other types and other sports, so you can use them for other different stuff, or dress it up and go out to the local watering hole, and you're all good to go. So we're going to drop some more stuff in the gear shed about this, and talk about some more of these new designs and new brands and new shoe stuff that's coming out. A lot of exciting stuff because we love seeing this stuff that actually just adds a little bit more safety and a little bit more grip to what's out there. So if you have questions or you're in California and stop by the American River in Coloma, come see Kristin. She would be happy to tell you about all kinds of stuff, or if you just need some gear, stop in. Happy to answer any questions. So we'll drop a link to the River Store, and we'll also drop another link to the Gear Shed. And Kristin, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Trevor. Nice
cool.
to see you.
We will see you guys down the river.